Hi everyone, I wanted to just take you along for a little bit of a day in the life sort of video. This is not a full day in the life, this is an afternoon and a little bit of an evening. I did want to point out to you, I know there wasn't a lot to see of it because I try to keep my baby out of the videos and he was in a lot of the video clips, so I had to cut out a lot of footage. But if you go back to the very start of this video, for kind of the first 2 or 3 seconds, you'll see what my counters looked like. They were much fuller, and I know that you don't actually see me taking things off because I noticed that he was in a lot of that footage, like I said before, but it takes time. Like, life just takes time to, take care of things. You make a mess. First of all, living life means making a mess. If you're cooking, if you're baking, if you're taking care of people, that means you are making a mess. It's messy to cook. It's messy to bake and to take care of your children and to just live life. And so if you want to look at that beginning of the video again really quickly for just a couple seconds, I want you to see that's, to me, that's a clean countertop. And okay, now I know what you're looking right now is a perfectly clean countertop. When I'm cooking, this is what I really like to have. Like, I like everything to be cleared off so that I just have the space to work, because I do make a mess while I work. Like, you're going to see my sink in a second. It's a mess. I also have a policy, which I might mention more than once, is I have a policy that if something can go in the dishwasher, then I am not washing it unless I absolutely have to. But you'll see the things in the sink right now. Those are very, very large things. The cutting board can actually go in the dishwasher, but that blue lid for the Pyrex bowl, like, that doesn't fit in the dishwasher. And there were other more pressing things that I needed to do, like put up the quinoa. If you don't take care of certain things ahead of time, they won't be ready for you when you need them. That's part of why planning, preparing in advance, like menu planning and just planning out your schedule, just planning ahead is so, so important to your life running a little bit more smoothly. And so that's why I wanted you to see the beginning of that video. Really, I would have liked to have shown you like me cleaning it up and how it just doesn't all happen at once. I probably stopped to pick up my baby a couple times or give him a toy or get like whatever. You might notice me bend down a couple times throughout the video, unless I cut those clips out. If you're able to see, if I was able to see him in the video, then I cut that clip out. But if you do see me bending down for no apparent reason, then it's probably because I had to hand him something. And so I want you to understand that if this is the stage of life that you are in, and regardless of what stage of life you're in, maybe you don't have a little baby right now, maybe your kids are a little bit older. I have a teenager, and life looks very different with a teenager than it does with a baby. And you have to go ahead and adjust wherever you are in life. You can see the cabinet is moving next to me. The baby's playing in the cabinet. Normally, I would have told you I don't like to work with people around me in the kitchen, but I have to adjust where I am in my stage of life to understand that if I want to get things done, it might mean working with somebody near my feet, which, by the way, is like one of my pet peeves. I hate working with people at my feet. I love my baby so much. I don't mind him working at my feet. When you embrace the stage you're at in life and you figure out ways to make your stage work for you, all of a sudden, the things that used to bother you, either they're not going to bother you anymore, or like you're going to find the joy in it. Because the fact is he is only little for so short. Our children are little for such a short period of time. Okay, so right now I don't know if I already started. I stopped paying attention to the video for a second while I went on this little rant, but I'm going to rinse this quinoa and I'm going to speed up the video, or maybe I already did that. Maybe I'm way behind where the video is holding, but I'm going to speed it up while oh no, that's what I'm doing right now. If you don't like things moving so fast and you get headaches from that kind of thing, don't watch. But yeah, I like to make sure that my grains and things are very clean before I use them. So this is a tip. If you do use greens, which I hope you do because they're very good for you, they're good for you, they're good for your kids, they're good for everything, right? So go ahead and make sure to either soak or rinse your greens before you use them. With quinoa, you don't really have to soak it. Let me rephrase that. Quinoa, you should not soak it. I mean, if you want to soak it for a couple minutes, that's fine. But don't go ahead and soak it for like an hour or 3 hours or 8 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like beans you should soak for like 8 hours or overnight or whatever, depending on the temperature and all that stuff. But quinoa is going to sprout very, very, very quickly. If you don't mind that, then no problem. But it absorbs it absorbs moisture very quickly. So the longer you have it soaking, it's going to change the ratio. Like it's going to change the amount of water that you need to cook it with. So yes, if you want to soak it for a couple minutes before you rinse it off, that'll definitely help get the dirt off. As you can see, I did not soak the quinoa before I threw it into the pot, so I had to rinse it a bunch of times. I was just measuring out the water, which if you don't know this already, you should get down to eye level of whatever liquid ingredients that you're measuring. So whenever you're measuring stuff into like a liquid measuring cup, make sure you're getting at eye level with whatever measurement you need. So if you need a cup, then obviously get eye level with the cup. By the way, you'll notice the camera is moving because my helper is moving my tripod. Or you'll see it move in a second. You'll see it's gonna slow. Yep, it's slowly starting to move, and that's why we exited that scene. But that's the point. Embrace your life. Embrace the stage where you're at right now. In case you're wondering what I'm making right now, it is quinoa pasta. It's actually really good. We don't do a lot of pasta because I don't do so well on tomatoes. I have some kids that don't like tomatoes, so if I want to make an alternative sauce, that just requires a lot of work that I haven't been doing recently, although I might do it coming up soon because I did just buy oregano for my garden, and I have made like a pasta sauce with yellow squash. Yellow squash, I'm not so into the flavor. It doesn't have its own, I don't know, whatever. I don't love it like as if I were to make like zucchini sticks, like roasted zucchini sticks, chop it up, season it, throw it in the oven. I love that. I did it with yellow squash. It wasn't as amazing, but yellow squash, maybe because it just doesn't have its own strong flavor, but yellow squash, you can use it in place of tomatoes in a homemade pasta sauce. It is so, so good. Probably because it doesn't have its own strong flavor. So it kind of just takes on the seasoning. It takes on the flavor of the seasoning. Like I said, I just did buy the oregano for my garden. I am hopefully going to start my garden this week. I was working on building the beds yesterday, and hopefully we'll get that going up again. And so this quinoa pasta I've had sitting for a really long time. I ended up throwing it into a soup, and it was so, so delicious. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and make some baby food muffins. Now this recipe normally calls for carrot baby food, but I decided to do it with prune baby food. You're going to see me move some things around on the counter for a minute. Do you also like when things are a certain way on the counter, like having things in a certain order? Okay, here we go. I'm going to go fast again with the eggs, so if that bothers your eyes, don't look at the screen for a minute. I like to have things a certain way on the counter. This is what I call my baking counter. I usually like to bake at this counter. It doesn't give the best angle for a video, but you could pretty much see what I'm doing there. So this is a baby food muffin recipe that normally uses carrot baby food. I actually wanted to take a picture of what they came out as, like when they were all done, but they were ready. I think they were ready right when I was running off to get my kids from school. So you see that you didn't see the prunes go in because I think my baby woke up and I had shut off the camera. So he must have gone for his afternoon nap or something like that, and then he woke up as I was putting the prunes in or something like that. This is real life, guys. Like, this is just, you got to go along with it. Be flexible, move along. It's okay if you don't see me pour in every single baby food jar of prunes. I'll try to leave the recipe below. Okay, so here's what I wanted to say about it. I wanted to take a picture of them. They sunk. They didn't come out and rise nicely like they were supposed to. Again, it's not a prune recipe. I just subbed it just because I wanted the prunes. But it always comes out amazing with I've made it with carrot baby food. I've made it with sweet potato baby food. I can't remember if I've made it with apple, but definitely with the carrots and the sweet potatoes, and it comes out phenomenal every single time. Yeah, I'll try to put the recipe below. But yeah, I wanted to take a picture to show you what it came out as. They didn't rise so nicely. but I was running off to carpool, and then we got home. They were still delicious, so everyone inhaled them, and there were none left to take a picture of, which, by the way, okay, so they weren't Instagram worthy, but everyone ate them. Okay, so that's the kind of message that I hope you will hear loud and clear on this channel is it's okay when things don't go as planned. Keep going, go with it, and focus on what went right. Okay, so I'm using applesauce. Okay, maybe that's why the recipe flopped. The recipe does not call for applesauce. What happened is that I had opened that applesauce, I believe, a week earlier. Now, normally we have no problem finishing applesauce in our house, but it had been open in the fridge for like a week at that point already, and I wanted to kind of get it used up because I don't like when things go to waste. So I have no problem using full amount of oil and fat and all that stuff in recipes. I think more butter, more flavor, but I don't use butter. We don't do so great on dairy in our house. We do a drop of dairy here and there, but I normally cook with like oil and stuff. But yeah, I did add the applesauce in just because I wanted to use it up. And I do wonder if that contributed to the flopping of the recipe. But like I said, again, they were so delicious, and they were gone in literally that afternoon. Okay, so I am using a sprouted pastry flour here. I actually really like this brand. I'll try to link it below. Yes, it does cost a lot more. I've had the flour for a while, so I haven't bought it recently. So if you saw my video about my 2024, maybe I'll link that, so you'll understand why I've been careful not to buy super expensive flour. So normally these days I've been baking with like the all-purpose white flour. I'll buy like a 25-pound or a 50-pound bag of it from Costco, but my baby just turned 1 and he's really eating now. Have you ever heard the saying, food before 1 is just for fun? Okay, it kind of is. It's like literally just for making a mess. I mean, maybe some kids eat before they turn 1, but my kids don't really. But he recently has really been eating, and so I figured that he was really going to eat these muffins, which probably meant I should have used an alternative sugar. I don't know, whatever. You know what? We do the best we can, Actually, the sugar that I use, that I try to use, at least the one that's in that jar over there on the counter, that's the organic sugar from Costco, like the Kirkland brand. By the way, if you've tried the other brand, the Zulka, I think it is. I don't remember what brand it is. Have you tried it, and do you like it? I bought it in December, I think it was November or December. I think it was shortly after we moved back into our home. And I opened up the bag, and it didn't smell like sugar to me. So, I mean, and then I had like sugar from, not Costco, from like Walmart that I had just gotten, like randomly. When we lived in the other house for a few months, when we were renting in that place, we were not near a Costco. So I did a lot of Walmart delivery then. And I got like just plain sugar from Walmart. Also because it was more economical. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. Well, not exactly, but you have to do the best you can. So during that time when my husband was unemployed for a few months, obviously I was not buying like organic stuff all the time. I don't even know if I bought anything organic during that time. Maybe I did, 1 or 2 things that was like super important to me. But yeah, I bought the white sugar from Walmart, and I bought the white flour and like all of that. Because I still had to feed myself and my family, and that stuff is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's going to be people who are going to find something wrong with everything. And yeah, I mean, obviously you can see I'm using sprouted whole grain organic flour. So like, I mean, obviously I prefer certain foods. But at the end of the day, it's okay when you have to use other options. It's not just okay, it's better to, because then you stretch your dollar further. Your money will last you much longer, and you'll have so much more peace of mind if you go with the more economical option. And you know what I realized is that sometimes, like when I do the like packaged snacks, let's say I'll get like stuff from Costco or Walmart or wherever, packaged snacks, and my kids, I give them to my kids, right? Let's say we're like in the car heading home from school, and we don't live so close to school, okay? So like I'll give it to them, and it holds everybody over, it keeps everyone's it keeps everyone's blood sugar stable. You know what I'm saying? Like, just basics, like keeping everyone just fed until dinner's on the table. It's, you know, there's not a very long drive home from school, but, you know, by the time we get in the car and get all the way home, and then we get home and everyone has to wash up and go to the bathroom, and some kids run out to play right away. And even when kids are hungry, they still run out to play right away. You know, they've been sitting all day. Yeah, they get recess, but it's not the same thing. You know, it's not the same as just being able to just run free, you know? So what I've noticed is that, you know, whatever that junky food is, and I do try to buy healthier snacks, but the fact is, yes, they do get Cheez-Its and Oreos and whatever they trade with their friends, you know what I'm saying? I have, since I've noticed over the years all the trading that goes on, I have started to buy much less healthy snacks. My son once told me, I bought like blackberries. I don't know if they were organic or not, but it was like January and I was buying blackberries for the kids for school snacks. I mean, for anything, you know what I'm saying? Eating at home, eating at school. And my son told me he traded somebody a bag of potato chips. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, my container of blackberries was like $8. The bag of potato chips like 25 cents, right? So I was like, forget that. You know, the blackberries are going to be for home. You know, obviously if the kids want to take fruit to school, I'm okay with that, but they have to want it. It can't just be like, oh, I'm just packing my kids healthy snacks because I want them to eat it. If they request it, I'll absolutely be happy to buy it and give it to them. But it has to be at their request. It can't be that I am like sending expensive things when they're going to just trade it anyways. Why am I talking about this? Right. I'm talking about this because what I noticed is that even with all the junky stuff that I never ever wanted my kids to ever touch or go near in my entire life and their entire life, right? They would eat this stuff and it would hold them over. Like, and I would even give it to them. Let's say we were traveling or, you know, going somewhere and, you know, I ran into the store and grabbed whatever it was that the store had. And I gave it to the kids. Let's say, oh my gosh, the kids ate like the pandas and whatever, you know, the packaged snacks. It held them over. Like, it kept everyone level-headed and normal. And that's what's important. So if you can't afford the most expensive ingredients, you have to see, there's my sink. It's still not empty and clean. But, oh, and you can see there's a package of wipes on the floor. There's a pillow on the couch. Doesn't even have a pillowcase on it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's life. You have to do the best you can. So if what you can afford is not the ingredients, the quality ingredients that you want to at this time, just be grateful for the things that you currently have. I'm telling you, the fastest way to get to the place that you want to be at is to express extreme gratitude. Literally, I do this every day. At least I try to. Like, when I'm just like in the car, oh, somebody moved the tripod again. When I'm in the car driving, I'll be like, God, thank you so much for giving me a car that runs so beautifully. Like, just for every little thing. And if you can only afford the cheapest flour and the cheapest ingredients, just express your gratitude that you are able to even buy those things and that you have the money to purchase them. And I'm telling you, the more you put your heart and soul into expressing gratitude to your creator, the more you're going to get. And don't do it, obviously, because like you want something and be like, okay, you gave me all this, I'm so happy for it, but I need this. No, focus on pure gratitude. Okay, so I know I'm showing you soup because I want to show you kind of my day. This is already nighttime when I'm cleaning up. I did make a soup, and I actually want to do a separate soup video because I made a few soups that week. And so hopefully I'll put together another video with all the soups that I made, and you'll get to have like all the soup recipes and everything there. But this is a day in the life, so I just wanted to share with you that, yeah, it is nice to make a nice bunch of soup, right? All that stuff and all that good stuff. Then there is cleanup at the end of the night. And that's honestly, look at my counter right now. There's the pasta that's sitting there from dinner. There's just all the stuff, all the containers of stuff, like the white stuff in that bowl with the blue lid. Those are chopped onions that I didn't think about ahead of time pulling out to defrost. I think I had run out of Ziploc bags, and so I froze the chopped up vegetables in Pyrex dishes. Don't do that, by the way. Like, literally don't do that. If you do that, you have to thaw it in advance. So when I pulled it out to make the soup, I realized there was no way I could use it because I didn't thaw it out in advance. So I just labeled the containers, as you can see. It's very important that when you're labeling containers to make sure to put the date on the soup. And if it's like vegan or has certain ingredients, make sure to label it as that. Like if it's dairy or if it's vegan or if there's a meat ingredient in it, just in case there's any sensitivities in your family or anything like that. So yeah, I know that the counter looks clean. That's one of the reasons I love this counter. Thank God. It's so beautiful. I love my counter. But the fact is it looks clean, but it's not usually clean. So I'm always wiping it down. And it was just really wet from all the condensation from the cold bowls of frozen vegetables. Yeah, so now I'm just transferring everything into Ziploc bags because those are all vegetables that I had pulled out to make the soup with, and I couldn't end up using them, so I actually ended up having to chop more vegetables in order to make that soup, which we'll probably talk about in the soup video. Hopefully I'll get around to putting that together. But my point is here is that you really just have to do the best that you can. I believe that's parsnip in there. If you've never made food with parsnip, it's really good. Parsnip is like kind of sweet. Okay, this is not a cooking video. Oops. Don't drop your bowls. Okay, do you have one of these things? I used to have a bunch of them. I wasn't happy with them, so I ended up getting rid of them. I don't remember what they're called, but they're Ziploc bag holders. And yeah, don't drop your bowls. Thank God it didn't break. But yeah, I don't really like them. If you don't have one, I saw them, they were like all the rage like 7 years ago or something on YouTube and blogs and everything, and totally not worth the money. I mean, maybe mine are just so old, but I ended up getting rid of them after a little while because maybe I don't cook enough sauce. I don't know. Maybe everyone was using them to like prepare crock pot meals. Okay, so the onions are still kind of frozen. So I have to kind of like thaw into them. Not thaw, like I have to like, you see, I have to stick the spoon in. But they were totally fine. I ended up cooking with them a different time and they were totally fine. You're going to see, I'm going to try and stick. I really just want to dump that whole thing in. And thankfully I came to my senses and realized it was not a good idea. No, do not take a massive bowl of something and try and pour it into a Ziploc bag. It's not a good idea. So you're just going to see, I'm just going to get the rest of the vegetables right into the bags. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about preparing and planning on this channel. If you want to get your life in order, it is worth it. It is worth preparing and planning in advance. Because yes, did I have to go ahead and chop up other onions for the soup that I made in that video? Well, I didn't make it in that video, but you'll see, hopefully at some point I will show the video where I made the soup. Yes, I did have to go and chop up other onions, but I had those onions for a different time and it was fine. The point is that the more you prepare and plan in advance and the more you are happy and accepting and grateful for where you are in life and finding the joy at where you are in life, the faster you're going to get to the place that you truly want to get to. Obviously, hold on to that image of what you want. It's not really so much what we talked about in this video, but I've talked about it in other videos, so maybe I'll link one of them here. But definitely think about the vision of what you really want. What do you want your family to look like? What do you want your home life to look like? How do you want your day to run? What do you want the flow of your life to look like? And keep that vision, hold that vision in your mind, like hold it in your heart at all times, and start to do the things that will get you to that place. And it might be one little tiny baby step at a time, and that's fine. And that's the only way to really do it, honestly. Like, not just that it's fine. That is how you get there. One little baby step at a time. Yeah, does it look like I'm making more progress than somebody else? Yes, but I've been doing this for years. And honestly, I really need to show you some of the video footage of like when my kitchen is a wreck, okay? We've been here like 2 months now. I mean, this video was recorded whenever it was reported. But as of this voiceover, we've been back home for 2 months already. And my home this weekend, like Saturday night, I just got this like fire lit under me. Like I was like, I am getting unpacked. I'm emptying my garage and nothing is stopping me. And I wanted to build my garden beds. So like I was like on go mode. Okay. My house is a mess right now. Well, I guess not my whole house, but like there's boxes in my kitchen and there's stuff piled high on my counters waiting to be washed and put away that I took out of the garage and unpacked. Like it's life. You have to do the best you can. That's all that you can do. Let me know, what is a goal of yours, something that you would like to try and achieve this year, and what's a step that you think that you should take to get there, or share a few goals and share a few steps. I'd love to see and hear from you where you're holding in your journey in motherhood. What are your challenges right now? What do you find is the hardest thing for you right now? What do you find is the easiest thing for you right now? Okay, I'm looking at that celery. It did not look good, like after sitting on the counter for several hours. It was also still partially frozen, but I smelled it and it smelled amazing. I love celery. But yeah, go ahead, share with us in the comments. I'd love to connect with you and chat with you in the comments below. What are some of your struggles right now in motherhood? And what do you feel like helps you the most? And what do you feel like is your biggest challenge that you're facing? Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching.